I have CRS.
That's me. We're recording.
Yay! So, welcome to the very first Joy Business Book Club. Yay! Apart from that, this is a book club done different because I don't know if you saw my video, but I'm not a fan of book clubs. And the JCFs and Emily and our team were saying, oh my God, we should do a book club. And I was going, yay, let's do a book club. That'll be great. Because to me, the thought of listening to someone else read aloud something that I can read faster than them is a nightmare. So instead, I was like, all right, I was racking my brains. I was like, we got to do this different because I get that people want to do this. And there's 1,000 of you. So I guess people really do want to do this. So how can we make this fun for us? How can we share something that's completely different? And I mean, we're here together for the next 6 months or something until March. So what is it that we can create and do together? So instead, we did one of my favorite things, which is extrapolation, where we're going to extrapolate the stories out of the book and give you even more depth behind it. Because funnily enough, we know the author. She's great. Hopefully she's going to do a little cameo on here soon. And we know the stories behind the scenes. And there's so much more to Joy of Business. I know that this is a very concise book, and it's also filled with some of the most amazing stories and tools. And guess what? We've got more. So let's dive in. And if you do have any questions, I do notice that we don't have any chat box for you today. So you're going to have to just talk to us. So if you want to, you're welcome to either raise your hand, not physically because we may not see that, but there's a little thing that you should be able to raise your hand, or you can just come off mute and say, hey, it's Rebecca, I have a question, apart from insert your own name. So Miss Emily, do you want to share one of your favorite things about this book and one of your favorite tools from this first chapter?
How did you know I was about to talk? So what I wanted to say too with this book is the Joy of Business book is for everyone. It's not just for someone who owns a business. And I really thought that was true for the book. It was one of my first access books I bought. I think I bought Being You and this were my very first books. And at the time, I was a stay-at-home mom. I had 2 little girls. I wasn't working. And I had no idea how the book applied to me. I read it and loved every minute of it, though. If you've seen my copy, I have every every page dog-eared and notes in the margin and everything is underlined. And I was asking every question, but I really thought, well, I guess I'll use this someday when I have a business or, when I get a job. It must not apply. I did not get that your life is your business. You've heard Simone say this, and it took me forever to actually get it. I was like, oh, you mean what I'm creating at home at the time wasn't even working, but everything I was creating, that is your business. And that's why I think it resonated so much, even though I didn't know why it was. I also really had the point of view that I knew nothing about business. So when I first got asked to work with the Access team, I was talking with Megan Hill, who's, was in charge of the social media. And she said, we'd love to hire you. Right now, the spot we have is for Joy of Business. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know anything about business. And even though I had the book and I loved it, but I really, I had to start trusting what I actually knew and look from a completely different definition of what business was. And I also didn't run from that. I jumped in. I was like, of course I'll do that. And I remember being on my very first Joy of Business team meeting with Simone. It was a call, and I was dropping my kids off at preschool and trying to stay on the phone. And I was so nervous that I was going to get something wrong, or I felt like a fraud. What am I doing here? I don't know anything about business. I have no training in social media. My degree is in biology, so I had no no experience at all doing what I was doing. But the gift of working with these tools and the gift of working with someone like Simone and with Gary and Dana and Access is they hire people and you create your own job, and they hire based on awareness and of what you are capable of. It's not the training you went to for school. And And on that first meeting, I remember Simone asked me, she was like, well, what do you know? And you've probably heard that question a lot in Access, and I had heard that before. But the way she asked it, I got this download. It was so empowering. I was like, whoa, what do I know about all of this? What if I'm actually bringing to the table something totally unique, to the joy of business, to this, team, to this creation? And so, I want to ask all of you guys that, what do you know about business? What do you know about creating your life? Because that's what this is really about. And the way you're going to do it is so different and so unique from the way anyone else would. And that's the gift. It's not wrong, and if you, one of the greatest gifts I've gotten from these tools is to really create without judgment. So I know if you are in a job and you work with other people, or we all interact with other people. I know for a long time, I would sort of say, I'm not going to say that. I don't know if it's a good idea, or someone else must know more than me, or they've got it handled, or, this is going to sound stupid, so I'm not just going to say it. But the gift of working with these tools and getting to create from the space of consciousness really is, no, you all have something unique to add in every area of your life, whether it's your job, whether it's at home, wherever it is. And if you don't judge it as right or wrong and know, I can say anything and other people are there to contribute. When we're all working together, I'm so love working with everybody on the Joy of Business team, like Sarah and Rebecca and Peggy and Melanie, who's not on yet, and Simone, because, I might suggest something and then Rebecca will say, and what if we did it this way? And then Sarah will add in this, and it becomes a greater creation. But if I never would have given my awareness, or if someone else wouldn't have added theirs, it wouldn't have changed and become what it could be. So it's everything don't keep it in, because there's something unique. It's not wrong, it's not right, and it might not get chosen as the thing or the exact way that something gets made or created or said, but it's that flow and everything contributing to each other. So really it's about trusting you and your awareness and what you know in the creation of your whole life. And the questions and tools in this book and the way they empower you to keep doing that and keep choosing greater and keep asking more has been such a gift. And I'm so excited about this book club, because we get to talk about that, and you can ask your questions and we can go through some of the tools and see how, we've used them, how you're using them, what's coming up in your life as we go through the book. So I'm really excited.
Just a little. And Sarah actually has a pretty close relationship with our wonderful author, and I'm not quite sure she thought she would end up where she is today as one of our main people behind the scenes in our gaggle.
Exactly. I was telling everyone before we started that I usually work behind the scenes for Joy of Business, but today I'm very much in the forefront of the scene. So yeah, and the chapter we're doing, even though it's book club done different and there's no rules, but we're doing how I got started in business, which is chapter 1 in the book. And reading about how Simone got started was so interesting to me, because I had very much a similar point of view growing up. Whenever I played games with my friends, it was often playing things like shopkeeper or doing something that was kind of creative from a business sense. And at the time, I never thought it was strange. It was just really fun for us. But then I kind of grew up and sort of went more into the path of doing the traditional managerial roles, working for other companies. And fortunately, Simone is my sister-in-law. She's with my brother, Brendan. And I started working for Joy of Business as an intern about 18 months ago. So the big thing for me that I really wanted to mention is that it's never too late to change careers. I mean, I'll be 35 in, I don't know, a month or two. And for 15 years, I worked in different roles. I managed people's businesses for them. I worked with animals. I worked in animal welfare, and always had really fulfilling jobs. And always there was something there that I knew I wanted a lot more than that. I knew that there was something that I could contribute to changing more in the world. So I'm super grateful for Simone and for this book, because it's shown me that you can wake up tomorrow and change anything. You don't have to stick to the path that you chose a year, 10 years ago, 5 minutes ago. If something pops for you, if you read something in this book, or if you hear somebody say something that resonates for you, I say go for it. Follow what's true and what's fun for you. And that's very much what I did. And I now work full time, which is a funny, I like the term full-time work, because it's like, does that mean I work 23 hours a day, 7 days a week? Because I pretty much do. So my version of full-time now isn't 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. It's like 24/7, 365. And I love it. In the last 18 months, I've created more than I have in the previous, 30, however many years it was. So I would empower all of you guys to step into whatever's fun for you and never think it's too late to change.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Hi, it's Elena speaking. I'm from Frankfurt, Germany. We have a 11:15 p.m.
Hi, Elena.
Hi.
Thank you.
I was wondering, a lot of successful people and are working a lot of time. Yeah, like you said before. And this is for me so, I lost the English word. I was, on the weekend, I was on the Being You event in Cologne, so I lost a lot of time and a lot of words. It's so, now I got it. It's so strange for me because a lot of books told you that if you are working, if you are an entrepreneur, you have more freedom to do what you want. Okay, but if you are working 12 hours, for me it's I cannot get it together. It's like water and oil. And I'm looking for the emulgator.
I love that analogy, like water and oil.
Okay, I've got a question. It's like, how have you decided that work is bad, awful, terrible? I mean, for me, like 12 hours is absolute joy. I've been up since 5 a.m. I've been on some major meetings this morning. I quickly just came on here, and then I'm going to get my bars run after that. And then I've got, private sessions, and I've got meetings, etc. But I don't look at it as, oh my God, I've just worked 6 hours, or I've worked 8 hours or 12 hours, etc. To me, and that's what this book is about, it's a joy of business, because your life is your business and your business is your life. So if you're not having fun doing what you're doing, I suggest actually trying to see if you can find something else.
If I want to do that, what I love, I just will lay on a beach, enjoy the sun and the sea.
I suggest you go do that. Go lie on the beach for 2 weeks and lie in the sun and don't do anything else, and see if that is actually what you enjoy.
No, I cannot enjoy it because I did it. We moved 3 years ago to Crete. To have from Germany to Crete, so that I have the lifestyle I wanted, like everyday sun, warm, and so on. And I worked so hard building up an online business so that I am independent, and it doesn't work because I said, okay, I'm here on Crete now. I enjoyed it, but the work, or my point of view of work, and how work has to be, was absolutely.
So let me ask you a question. Truth, do you actually want to work?
No.
There you go. You've got your awareness. So you know what? Have you got a rich husband?
No.
Then find one. Do what works for you. I mean, seriously.
I have a husband.
Well, get him to go out there and get to work. But you got to have a look at what's true for you. If you look at what's true for you, then you can change it. The whole thing I love about Access Consciousness is if you have an awareness of something, you can change it. If you are not willing to be aware of it, you cannot change it. Like my partner, Brendan Watt, he's 11 years younger than me. And for ages, he was like, you know what my job is? To be the toy boy. And I remember one day we actually Googled it, and it was like toy boy's job to look good. That's pretty much what their job is. And then I'm there to supply the money. I love working. I loved, working and doing that. And he would be cooking in the kitchen, etc. I was just saying the other day, I miss that now. because he doesn't cook. He's out there making money and creating, his life. And I'm like, damn, stop being the toy boy. Yeah, he's changing the world. So, but you know what? But that's what he was choosing for that moment, and he totally loved it. And I was totally fine with it. It was like, yeah, this works for me too. So you've got to be willing to have a look at what's working for you and what's not working for you, and choose that. And my question would be, is if I was choosing my reality today, what would I choose? Okay, your reality, not somebody else's reality. And don't buy into the projections and expectations of what this reality tells you should be doing, or what you can't be doing, or how you're supposed to, quote unquote, feel about working, 12 hours a day. If it's fun for you, do it. I mean, Sarah, Emily, Rebecca, I can see you guys on here, and it's like, how many hours do you work a day? Do you even know, or do you just keep creating?
We don't even count.
Yeah, and work.
Would be fun if I counted.
And the word work even is like something that I use as a term, but to me it's like the meaning of that word is anything that I'm doing that's creating my future. That could be going to the gym even, because I know when I work out my body, I come home and I can sit in front of my computer for however long and I feel alive. So it's all part of it for me, and I will happily work 20 hours a day every day because that's my reality, and that's my awareness, and that's what's fun for me.
And that's a really good point, Sarah, because even like if I go for a walk on the beach, it's not as though I'm separating myself from work, because quite often if I've got my dog on the beach, I come up with some brilliant ideas. I always take my phone so that I can write in my phone or speak into it, or I call someone or do something like that. So it's like, what if you never switched off from work? Because that's what this reality tells you should do. Oh, it's, 5 o'clock. Isn't it wine o'clock? It's like, you know what? Why can't you have a glass of wine and have a meeting as well? It doesn't need to be like a switch off time. So what if you had no switch off time and you were just creating 24/7?
Exactly. I love it.
Hi there, it's Christine here. Thank you, Simone. Hi, Sarah. I just wanted to say that the comment that you made about being on the beach, go be on the beach and be bored. And then I got the awareness and went, oh, well, that's why I don't enjoy going to the beach and standing around for 3 freaking hours and waiting for everyone to get in the water. I think that's why I have a husband to go and do that with the daughter. And then I went, wow, I never had that awareness of why it annoyed me, or I didn't feel comfortable. So thank you, Simone. And
you're welcome.
And the other thing about, and also the comment about keeping your phone with you to record things and write things down, because I'm always going, I've got to write in my book of possibilities. I never have it on me. So now I'm going to record everything. What else is possible?
And you've got to be willing to be judged for that too. I know I tried to do a vacation earlier this summer, and to me, I was barely working. Like I maybe pulled my phone out, I don't know, an hour or two a day. I was very off in my world. And the people I was with, who all have jobs that they hate, were so angry, and like that I would get on my phone sometimes. Why do you work so much? And you're not paying me. And I was like, I was so bored with the conversations. Nothing was creative, because it doesn't have to be work, but even the conversations. And, I loved being with my kids. That was fun. But I realized how much, like what Sarah's saying, every part of my life needs to have that creative energy. And you've got to be willing for other people who, have the judgment of, oh, you must be working too much, or that must not be fun. They're putting their world and their projections onto your reality. And that's why when Simone said you have to get really clear on what's true for you, it's not right or wrong. Everyone has different, ways they like to create, hours they like to work or not work, and everyone's unique.
Hi, this is Kati. I just want.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just heard what Elena said. I just have this sense of that there's something in the quality of being on the beach, and why can't she make money? I mean, what else is possible? She could make money with that kind of being,
Yeah, sure. I mean, you know what I do when I go to the beach? A friend of mine, Steve Bowman, who some of you might know, he saw me on the beach one day and he was like, of course it's you, Simone, like from a distance, because I'm on the beach on my phone making phone calls. It's like creating. So what I was suggesting though is when someone says, oh, I don't want to work and I just want to go and lie on the beach, is that true, or is that a brought point of view that you brought from somebody else, that the best thing in the world is to go on a holiday and lie on a beach? It's like, if you do it for 2 weeks or even do it for a day, you'll probably find out that's not what you like. I live across the road from the beach. I love the beach, but I'll go lie on the beach and I will either listen to a class or maybe make a few phone calls, or I might just, lie there, but I don't lie there for very long. It's like 30 minutes tops. And then I'm like, yep, done. Have a swim, and I love it.
I can't do that at all. I work 24 hours a day, but I just get that there's a quality of being that other people might, respect and appreciate. If someone could be the gift of space, being on the
beach. But you can get that. I mean, so this person though was suggesting that's the lifestyle they want, and what I'm suggesting is try it out and see if it works for you. And if it does work for you, if you would like to go lie on the beach nonstop, and then work out how you can get some money. Like I said, get a rich husband. Yeah. It's like, or get a rich partner, whatever it is, or win the lottery. Do something to create your life. If you want to sit on the couch and drink beer and watch footy all day, that's fine. It's just a choice. But then have a look at, it's like, do you desire to have money in your life or no money in your life? If you desire to have money, then get some way of money coming in, create a revenue, whatever that may be. So, because what most people will do is judge their life of what they are currently creating and then say that something else would be better. Like, oh, I wish I could live on the beach. I wish I could do that. It's just one, idea. It's like, of living on the beach. It's like, oh, I wish I could go and do this. I wish I could go and do that. And one of the things that I like to talk about in Joy of Business is committing to your life. It's like, how many of you wake up in the morning and go, oh, I wish I had $1 million. I wish I could lie on the beach. Instead of, if that's truly what you desire, wake up and say, okay, what is it going to take, which is a question, what is it going to take to create $1 million? What is it going to take to create me being able to lie on the beach every day? And give yourself permission to actually create it. Because you know what? It's like, it's pretty boring when you hear people just talk about what they would like and then they never actually create it. So what I desire of you guys, and I know that this is a, Joy Business, free book club, but let's do this, like, bam. It's like, write down what it is that you would like to have as your life. I mean, we just recently bought another house in Peregian, and my friend Christopher Hughes said, you have a house on the river in Noosa, you have 2 houses in Peregian now, you've invested in a castle in Italy, and you're also investing in a casa, a house in Costa Rica. Yep, absolutely. 5 years ago, I wouldn't have thought that was possible, and it is possible. I'm creating it as possible. So what would you like to create as your life that you've decided you cannot have as possible? And everything that is times a godzillion, where you destroy and uncreate it.
Yes.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all names, shorts, boys and beyonds. And if you haven't heard of what I just said, that is the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. And you can check out more about it at theclearingstatement.com. It basically changes any area of your life that you think is not working for you. Because if you listen to yourself, it's like, do you sound like your own, telenovela, your own trauma and drama show of like, I wish I had this, I wish I had that, It's like, get up and create it. No one's going to create it for you. You've got to create it. Even if that means getting someone that comes along, like Brendan did, that was making money, that could look after him.
And I love what you were saying too, Simone, because it was like you talked about all of the things you've created and how you have these houses and you've invested, but there was no, oh, well, we've done this now. There's still so much future in what you're talking about. Can you talk a little bit about when you're creating, how you never put that stop on? Like, so many people are like, well, I want the house, and once I get the house and I have my property and, my retirement fund, like, what does creating a future look like when you're doing it from the joy and the joy of business?
So creating a future is actually from each choice you make each day. Like, I remember the first house we bought is the one that we live in. And Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, said to me, he said, you've started creating your future. And I was like, how's that? And it's like, if you look at the energy of actually committing to something, like we bought a house. Okay, so it creates a future. Now, trust me, I mean, I freaked out when we first bought it because I was like, oh my goodness, that means that we have to, stay together forever and start investing in rocking chairs for when we get older. And Brendan looked at me and went, honey, it's just a house. We can always sell it. It's like, look at it like a business deal. And I was like, oh, I can do that. And you know what? I changed my point of view. So there's things that do come up. And it's like, but that's what the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement is for too, is to pock and pot it so that it can go away and you can change it and actually look for what your point of view is. So creating your future is always looking at, like, there's this, at the moment we have something called Project Possibilities. Go check it out, projectpossibilities.com. Now, what you can do, and it's a pretty cool offer, I think there's only 8 months left, that for $300 you can buy a night at the castle, which we're building this castle in Italy, absolutely beautiful. Or for $300 you can buy 3 nights at El Lugar, which is an absolute steal. So the thing is with this is, you know, we're looking for more investment, and we're also encouraging people to commit to their future. Look at the energy of, if you purchase a ticket to go to the castle in Italy, I mean, if you live in Europe, it's a bit easier. But if you live in Australia or New Zealand or America, etc., you've now just committed to traveling to Europe. So what if you kept extending what you were choosing, so that it's almost like you not push yourself, but it's like move forward with every choice you make. Like the other day when we went to auction for this house, and you know, the night before we were talking about it, saying, okay, so we could do it or not do it. It was really just a choice. But we looked at the energy of, if we choose this, where is our life in 5 years' time? And if we don't choose it, where is our life in 5 years' time? And it's like, not choosing it was really easy. Not choosing it, we can just live in the same house. We can, you know, be successful. We can have money. We can do all of this. Choosing it, we were like, okay, it's a lot of money right now to invest in that. But we chose it. And now we start asking, what else can we create? So if you choose beyond what you think, and there's the key word, what you think is not possible, you will demand that more shows up in your life. And what I'm always talking about too, and we talk about in Access Consciousness, is demand of yourself and request of the universe. Because there's a whole universe out there who's actually willing to assist you. Like a whole big universe going, yeah, let's play. And what do? You ask for something, and then you go, oh no, that can't show up, or that's not possible, or how could I ever do that? And you slam all these doors shut, and the universe was opening them up going, hey, you asked to play, let's do this. And then by the end of the day, you've just shut them all. So all the future possibilities that you have closed off, shut off, decided is not possible, gone to some sort of conclusion that you cannot receive it, truth, we destroy and uncreate it, and allow all those future possibilities that you asked for to show up now, today.
Yes.
Everything that is times a gazillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Simone, can I say something?
Sure.
Hi. So as you were talking about, like, for me, for next year, 2 classes in Italy within a month of each other is just, for me, pointless to go in and out of the country twice. It's such a long flight. So it's like, okay, what would it take to spend the month in Italy and do the classes and work from that and have ease with doing that? So it's just like, it's like, what action do I need to take to do that? You know, already got the bags packed, you know, and everything's done. So it's about how can you have fun with it too.
Yeah, and that to me, Michelle, that makes me smile, because it's such an adventure. You have no idea what this is going to look like, but you're like, yeah, let's do this. And it's like a month in Europe traveling around. It's like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, committing to the choice that you make and just doing it. And what's the worst thing that can happen, truly?
You can have fun.
Exactly.
So I had a question, because there's a lot of people out there I know that are like me. I have my daughter at home. So my commitment right now, my time in my life is that I feel that I want to be here for her in this time where she's going to school and doing everything. I'm not interested in homeschooling, done that, don't want to do that. I'm also on the board for a Steiner school that we started and opened here in Beachmere, and I'm back on the board for that and doing things there. So I'm creating things like that. But now I'm looking at, okay, so now I want to create revenues for me and income revenues for me. And I'm sort of going, well, I don't know what that can look like. And I've got property, I've got land, I've got space, you know, I'm in Beachmere, everything's sort of, I've got everything here that I can use and create something. So where I'm at the moment is, and I'm really loving and I'm going to take from this, is to demand more of myself and demand and see what can show up.
Yeah, and then you might want to look at when you said you don't know what that can look like, because you don't know what that can look like. But you know what? Every day, Brendan and I, probably at least once, would ask, how many more revenue streams can we have show up in our life today? And it's not an answer. You ask a question and then, you know, the energy's out there and then you might notice something. It's like, oh yeah, we could do this or this could show up. And it's like, and you play with it. And also recognize that, I mean, Christine, you want to, you know, stay at home and you've got all these things happening, etc. And then Michelle's talking about traveling and, you know, I mean, Brendan and I travel all the time. We also have a 12-year-old who loves staying at home with his grandma. And then he's coming to Costa Rica with us in a couple of weeks. So, you know, there's different things that you can change up and you can choose. But the main thing to look at here is, what are you choosing? Because if you're choosing something and you're loving it and you're choosing it because that's what you would like to choose, then that's awesome. But if you are doing something and then thinking that you have no choice, that's what I would like all of you to have a look at. If you go, I can't travel, or I can't stay at home, or I can't do this, it's like, please POC and POD, the clearing statement, everything that is, times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds, where you are not allowing yourself to have infinite choice. And if you ever hear yourself saying, oh, if I only had choice, because people use so many things as reason and justifications for not choosing what they would truly like to choose. I mean, how many people have kids and, you know, it's a big thing that people go, oh, well, you know, your life is over now, or you've just reached 40, it's all downhill from now. It's like, no, it's not. Having kids is awesome. Being in your 40s is awesome. So please don't buy into other people's points of view, other people's projections of what they've decided that you should be doing, rather than you actually waking up going, if I was choosing my reality today, what would I choose? If I was choosing my life today, what would I choose? And it's not about choosing against someone or something. It's about choosing to have that inclusion. Like everything I choose includes the whole of the world. It includes Nash, it includes my dog, it includes Brendan, it includes Joy Business, it includes Access, it includes everything. Yet I don't discount myself in my choices based on someone or something else.
So,
yeah,
Elena.
thank you.
Oh, sorry. Here's Elena speaking again. Thank you, first of all, for all your advice and your information. I think it's a better word. So for me now, it's okay. I have a lot to do of, I say, transformation, because I have a lot of blocks in front of me. So if you are talking about make a choice, I said, okay.
So who's creating the blocks? You or somebody else? You. You're the one that creates the blocks. You're the one that creates the blocks, okay? Yeah. So it's like, what do I love about creating my life with a whole lot of roadblocks and everything that is time to go see, and right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. I mean, Sarah Watt, who's my sister-in-law, and I work with her as well. And she's been talking about traveling, right? So she could go, oh, well, now I'm really busy with work and I can't travel because of, you know, XYZ, etc. She loves her gym, you know, whatever. But she's not. She's like, okay, whatever it takes, I'm heading off to Europe next year. So she's heading off to Costa Rica as well, but she's making the choices to choose what she would like to choose. Mm-hmm. So the only person who creates roadblocks is you. There is nobody else to blame for your life as it currently is except for you.
Totally agree. But these are mind blocks. I cannot send it to no one. No return to sender in this way. Possible.
No, but you can stop thinking. What's the value of thinking? What's the value of mind fucking yourself? Because that's basically what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So everything that is times a godzillion, where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. I love these free things that we do, because when it's free, I'm just like, you know what, you guys are going I'm not pussyfooting around here. It's like, exactly.
I love it.
We're only here for a short time. Let's do this. So again, if if you're one of those people who just uses your head all the time and thinks everything out and tries to work things out, then it's like, you are the one that is stopping what can occur, rather than going, you know what, why would I choose to do that? What do I love about limiting myself? Great question. What do I love about limiting myself? And everything that is times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Mm. So Joy, business team, Dazzle, what else? What else are we talking about today?
I was just going to say that there's two more people in the Joy of Business gaggle that you guys haven't met yet. So we also have Melanie, who's from Ireland. And I'm sure she has no favorite part of this book or topic or tool from the first chapter.
Definitely not. No. Actually, I love that I'm on the first chapter, because this seems to be the question I get asked the most recently, and it's kind of on the back of what Simone was talking about there. I worked in a law office for about 16 years, and I left and I started working with Simone and Joy Business and Access Consciousness and all these things. But somebody turned around to me recently and they said, "Oh, I was talking to your mom, and she said that, you know, you've taken a career break, and because it's a lovely secure job that pays every week." And then they said she kind of threw her eyes up to heaven like it was a bit pie in the sky, but it appears it's working out. And I remember kind of looking at them going, that never crossed my mind. It was like, I knew we'd say, people were like, "Ooh, I couldn't make a choice you were making," or, you know, "I couldn't be doing that because it's so, you know, not secure." It never occurred to me that somebody thought that I had a pie in the sky idea. And the reason I didn't think it was pie in the sky, because I was having so much fun. You know what I mean? I was enjoying so much what I was doing and what I was creating that
but people look at it as not a real job.
Exactly. Yes. And I was laughing because I was rereading the first chapter, and that's something people had said to you too when you were traveling, you know, when you're going to India and bringing stuff back, and like your business kind of grew there that way as well. But like when you're reading that chapter, it's like from the joy of it. And I started laughing when I read that part, because like I'm 10 months into the career break. And like, so I have a year, we'll call it, but I'm 10 months in, and in those whole 10 months, it never occurred to me as pie in the sky. It was constantly creating. Do you know what I mean? Like we'd say last year when I was going to make the choice, the thing I had to kind of look at the hardest was I had to trust myself that I could create my life, because I was leaving the secure job. You know, like they couldn't fire you. It's very hard to lose the job. But I was entering out into the, you know, the big bad business world or whatever. But yeah, you know, it's like, what is a real job anyway?
I love that. Thank you, Melanie. What is a real job anyway?
I do.
You know what? If you're having fun with it and you actually find it joyful, most people look at it as though it's not a real job. I mean, the amount of people when we're home, like we're working from home, and we have, you know, people who come to clean our cars. We have house cleaners, you know, we have someone who does the garden, you know, and we're up at all different odd hours. And I swear to God, the neighbors think that we're not doing anything. Maybe we're drug dealers or something. I'm not sure. But it's like, because we're always here hanging out at the oddest times, the oddest hours, and we don't look like we're working, but we're having an absolute joy of business, of creating.
Hi, I wanted to say something about what Melanie was talking about, because I had a funny experience with that, you know, willing to be losing whatever, how do you say it? Willing to lose everything. You have to be willing to lose. So I've had like lots of doubts starting my business for real. And then I was like, what does that mean? And then suddenly I just like one day lost everything, like all the support that I had. And it just made me laugh, and I couldn't take it seriously. I was like, what am I creating here? And then I just refused to believe it. I was like, okay, this is just my creation. And then like in a week's time, I got a phone call, and everything turned out just way better than I could have even imagined. So it was just really funny, because I just read this book before I created that.
Well, as Dr. Dane here would say, who is the co-creator of Access, nothing ever shows up the way you think it's going to show up. So, which I love, because life should be an adventure. It's like, are you having one?
Yeah.
So where's Miss Peggy? Miss Peggy Thum. I love the Joy Business Dazzle. The people who we work with, they create all over the world. Someone is always awake.
Yes. And we love you. It's such a adventure to work with you and for you and be a part of the team.
With me, not for me, with me.
With you. Yes, that.
No, actually, let's look at that. Just one point before we go to Peggy is, if you look at where you work, if you have the mentality that people work for you, and it's like, can you ever receive everything that they're actually creating or contributing? But if you have the mentality, if you look at it that people work with you, then you're actually willing to receive the awareness of what everyone has. And I love that Gary Douglas always says with Access Consciousness, he doesn't hire people for, I mean, he hires people for their capacities and for their awareness. So ask when you're working with people, what's your awareness on this? What would you choose? So that you actually gain other people's awareness and you don't have to do everything yourself. Big tool, enjoy business. Okay, Peggy, what's your favorite part in this first part of the book?
Well, I think it has to be, we're talking a lot about the working all of the time and what that means and what it doesn't mean. And for me, I had a little bit different experience with it because I was working really, really hard by the time I read your book and joined the team. And what happened was I had all of these things that came in because I was asking different questions and asking for a bigger life and a different life. And so then I had all of these things that came in that were fun, that I needed to play and that I couldn't work. You know, I started, I decided I wanted to take art classes and I've never done art and all of these things that would not make me money. I mean, I just almost had to force myself to do something and think about something that you know, really wouldn't in my logical brain make me any money. So and it was hard because I'm so used to going, well, no, I want to be successful. I had to let go of what the outcome was going to be, and then I had to be able to lose everything. And when I did that, then it was as if, you know, money started coming in and other opportunities to make money started coming in, and it was almost too easy. And so it's just been such an interesting journey. And we do, I mean, I work at any time of the day, you know, I pop on but it's such an interesting mix of, you know, I'm going to go play for a couple hours. I'm going to come in and do some of these things. I get to talk to people. My favorite thing to tell people is, oh, you know, I talked to Ireland today and in Australia and New Zealand and, you know, it's just my life. Yeah. So that's my experience. Yeah.
So you're living and being the joy of business now. How does it get any better than that?
Right.
And the funny thing is, though, it's as we've sort of this running theme here, it's considered so flaky. Like it's considered something that you're not supposed to do. I mean, I remember I lived in Sydney and I actually tell this story in the book as well. And I was working at markets on the weekend and I was, you know, selling goods that I imported from Nepal and Thailand and Tibet, etc., and India. And people were saying to me, when are you going to get a real job? Because they were working in the corporate world. And I was like, hang on a second. I was like, I'm making more money than you. I'm having more fun than you. I do get to go to the beach because I do love the beach. Don't get me wrong by the first discussion here. And it's like, and I get to go to the beach and I get to create my own life. And I'm like, when am I going to get a real job? And it's like, so don't actually think that I've had a real job because I've loved every single thing that I've ever chosen. So if having a real job in this world is not loving it, then I suggest you change it.
This is awesome. And I hope you guys are having as much fun as we are doing this. And if you have any feedback or any questions that you have, I think now is a good time. Otherwise, we might do one of my favorite rounds of what I call a quick fire, which is just basically putting everyone on the spot.
I have a question.
Sure.
How do you choose somebody to work with? What is I feel like I'm stuck with this issue.
Great question. Well, I mean, the first thing that Simone taught me about hiring people was actually, you know, to use the questions that Gary uses, which is, do they like money? Do they come from money? Or do they hate money? And by asking those questions, you get to see where people are actually functioning from. And then the other part of that was that we actually looked at what we needed. I mean, Joy of Business has done this. It's gone big and then it's gone really small and it's gone big and small. Like it's done this with the team. Like sometimes we've had 15 people working with Joy of Business and now we're down to what I call like the sweet six because there's 6 of us right now. And it just depends on what the company requires at the time. And the one thing that I realized with Simone was that she was willing to let us all fuck up. Especially me, the person that's like leading it all and, you know, making sure that everything is happening. And I was like, wow, if I really fuck this up, she's still going to be okay. What the fuck do I do with that was actually what was going on in my mind. Like, and it put me into question. And so then from there, I could look at, all right, so if this is if I'm the one that's leading this, if I'm the one that's, you know, calling the shots and making sure that everything is happening and creating Joy of Businesses, I see it can be, then what am I going to choose today? And what am I going to create today? And how am I going to empower all of the people that we're working with to create something awesome as well? So that I'm not the one telling them what to do. I'm the one asking them what they're doing and what they're creating and how can I support them. And so when you're finding those people, a lot of them have come through the internships because it's a great program and we have some really great questions. If you've ever applied to be an intern with Access Consciousness or Joy of Business, you'll see that we are asking some very different and interesting questions. We're asking you what you desire to create. We're asking you what's fun for you. We're not saying, what are your credentials for this job? Where do you come from? What's your CV? I mean, I get sent CVs all the time actually now, and I look at them and they're not the things that I'm going off of whether we'll hire you. I'm looking up your energy. I'm looking up your presence. I'm looking at what you desire to create and your point of view. More than anything, it's actually your point of view that I'm looking at. And so with finding those people, they come from the randomest places. I mean, I found Emily, like way back when, in the beginning, I found Emily by writing a post on Facebook saying, who likes social media? Literally, that was the post. And she was the person that wrote in there, oh my God, I love social media. I've just started doing this course and now I'm doing this thing and I just started working on my page and this is happening and this is happening. And I was like, that's it. That's the energy that we're looking for. And so I hired her for my business and a few other people's businesses. And then she turned out to start working with Joy of Business. And now she's one of the global coordinators for Access Consciousness for promotion. So you never know where the person's going to be. But if you ask for them to show up, they will. And so you simply just need to ask, where do I need to put a call out for what I'm asking for? Is it on Facebook? Is it on a job advertisement? Do you need to send an email? Do you just need to talk to someone? Because the person will be there if you're willing to ask for them.
Thank
you,
Rebecca.
You're welcome. Hiring people is probably one of my favorite subjects. So how did I get so lucky? All right.
I just want to say something because I do a lot of work in the communities as a volunteer, and I'm at a point where I'm doing websites and I'm doing MailChimps and I'm doing all of this stuff for a community, for a community group, which is great for a community and everything. But then I'm going, hang on a minute, I want to make money from this now. So how can that show up? So thank you for saying that. I'm going to re-listen to all of this and wait for it.
Exactly. And don't come back next week for the next book club chapter.
Okay.
Don't do that. All right, guys. So we've got a few minutes left.
Can I?
Shall I just put? Sure. One last question, and then we might just put the team on the spot for a second.
Okay. Thank you very much. Can you give me a tip to get out of my doo-doo head? I create something and then I go to, but this must happen and this and this and I have to do this and.
So ask instead, what energy can I be to create this? Because you're not taught to be, you're taught to do. So you have to sort of untrain yourself of the doingness, the checklist. So ask, what energy can I be here to create this?
And do
and
it.
Just keep asking that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it and all the time.
Yeah, what energy can I be here?
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, last minute quick fire. Sarah, what's your favorite tool from the Joy of Business first chapter?
Woohoo! Mine is the I'll do it attitude. So I'm always someone, if I'm asked to do something, I'll say yes. And then if I don't know what I'm doing, I will figure it out and I will get it done. I rarely say no to things. I'm all about what can I learn from this? And
that is so true, Sarah. I love that about you.
Me too.
So say yes and then figure out how to do it is my tool and tip from the first chapter.
And then maybe every now and then you pretend you're overwhelmed and then you go, no, I'm not.
Then I talk to Simone for 30 seconds and I get over my shit and create.
All right, Melanie, what's your favorite tool from the Joy of Business first chapter?
My one is don't listen to the negative talk and trust what you know. Because a lot of people will say, for example, that you can't leave your day job or you can't do this. And once I started choosing for me and following my knowing, which is what that part was about, I started creating a lot more. And if I started listening to what everybody else was telling me, I wouldn't be creating my life, my business, and I definitely wouldn't be having a lot of fun.
I love it. Peggy, your turn.
Peggy had to leave and take her grandkids to karate.
I'm still here.
Oh, you're still there.
I'm still here. They're standing at the door waiting, and I'm like, no, I don't want to leave. I love it.
The kids are sitting in the car waiting for you.
It's not running though. My favorite tool is, if it's not joyful, why would you do it? I love that.
True story. Right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Miss Simona, who wrote the book. Can you pick just one?
Yeah, I can actually, because it's pretty much the way I've created my life. And what I would ask is that you look at, like, it's like choosing success based on the change that you create, not the money. And I looked at this, I used to have a business called Good Vibes for You. And people always look at business as calibrating their success based on the amount of money they have in their bank account. What I would ask is that you not look at that, play with the money, be aware of the money. Absolutely. I plea with you to be aware of your finances. But what I would like you to look at each day is, what change did you create in the world? And is that the change that you're asking for? Like, there was a really quick story. There was a lady one day who rang me, and we did these magnets with the company I used to own called, and on them, one of the magnets said, imagine what you'd do if you knew you couldn't fail. And she rang me and she said, hey, I just want to thank you. She said, because somebody gave me this magnet about 6 months ago. And she said, I've had it on my fridge, and every single day I wake up and I've read it. Imagine what you would do if you knew you couldn't fail. And she said, she had like 9 kids or something like that. And her husband beat her up every day. And every single day she woke up crying, and she was a mess and thought that that's what her life was. And she said, for 6 months, I read this magnet every day. And she said, I wanted to find you and ring you and thank you, because I wanted to tell you I've left my husband, I've taken my kids, I have another house, and I'm actually creating my life. And she was like, thank you for everything that you be in the world. Now, that was a $5 magnet. I probably, sold it wholesale and got $2.50. If I was calibrating my success based on $2.50, I would be a failure. But to me, that whole business was worth that one lady actually choosing her life. So please look at this, look at what you create in the world, and do not calibrate your success based on the amount of money you have in your bank account. Calibrate your success by the change that you create in the world, and you create with you and your happiness quota.
All right, what an amazing finish to the book club. I think we leave it at that. What change can you be in the world this week? And we look forward to seeing you next week with a new chapter, chapter 2, with some of the Joy Business facilitators.
Yay! Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Simone,
everyone.
ladies.
Bye-bye.
Great. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.